Hello guys, you're welcome back to my space. It's been a while now. How have you been? How are you doing? I hope you're all right. There is this stuff that I've been really wanting to share with us, but I've not really found the time to make a very deep research as I want to make concerning this particular topic. But I'm just going to commit myself to it by like just starting with a little research. I've made like let's just start off. Then because I've put this one out, I'll be able to like go deeper and get the most out of this topic, because this topic a video cannot do justice to it. So I'm just going to be sharing with us today on how to recognize toxic environments, toxic relationship, and then maybe we'll be able to share a few tips on how we could handle these toxic relationships and environments. So how have you been? Hope you're good. Hope you're chasing your goals. Hope you're doing the best you could be. So I'm grateful that you're here listening to me. Please do like this video. Please do subscribe, share, click on the notification bell, share to your friends, of course. On this channel, we talk about everything growth, development, how we could achieve our goals, how we can navigate life difficulties to arrive at our expected goal and still like achieve our aim. Sincerely speaking, it's very good that you watch my videos, but I mean it would be very much better if you could try to put the stuff you learn from here into practice. So listening is good, sharing is good, but then putting them into practice is the best that you could do for both me, yourself, and the world. So welcome to my space. My name is Precious and I'm glad to have you here. If you're new, thanks for joining. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So yeah, today we're just going to be having like a little chit chat about toxic relationship, toxic environments. Most times when people talk about toxic relationship, they just like direct it to the opposite sex relationship, like maybe erotic relationships, maybe boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands and wives, and all that. But then in our lives generally, like in everything we do, we are relating with people. We have relationships at work, we have relationships in our social places, we have relationship in every single thing we do that like is much more wider than just maybe spouse, and all that. And most times we are so interested in like what trying to focus the topic on one aspect that it makes people just like struggle with their whole life, because they believe that toxicity is just when it comes to like sexual relationships or like marriage or partners and all that. But no, I just want us to start from there. So let's debunk this idea. When we say toxicity, when we say toxic relationship, when I say toxic relationship rather, I'm not talking about just boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. No, I'm talking about your whole life. Like there is no aspect of your life that doesn't deal with relationship. Like you're always relating with someone, you're always relating with people. There's always, in every sphere you find yourself, be it at work, be it anywhere you find yourself in, you will see that like you're constantly relating with people. So when I say toxic relationship, I'm not just like siding it to one aspect only. So I'm just talking generally like about a whole lot of like the wider area of our lives. So I'm going to be speaking on this topic more practically than just dishing tips and all that. So I'm just going to be sharing like more practical examples. So what I mean is that most of us are conscious that, I don't want to be treated this way by my friend. I don't want to be treated this way. Like most of us are actually conscious of that, to recognize red flags when it comes to friendship and all those kinds of relationships. But most of us do not understand toxicity in the workplace. We do not understand toxicity from every other kind of environment apart from friendship. So I'm just going to be saying this tip. If the only thing that you're like very focused on the only aspect of your life that you're focused on not receiving toxicity from is maybe your friendships and your private relationships, you're going to be making the mistake of like diverting or deflecting stress and frustration from every other area of your life on your personal relationships, because that's the only place you're looking out for. So you are not intentional about your relationship at work, you're not intentional about your relationship maybe in other places, in your social groups, in your every other place you can find yourself, but you're just so concerned. Okay, is this my husband treating me rightly? Is this my friend talking to me anyhow? It's okay to watch out for red flags in our relationship with people, but most of the times our general environment constitutes like 80% of our stress than human beings, because in our recent times now, you hardly find someone that sits at home doing absolutely nothing, just relating with humans. Most of us spend 70% of our lifetime. Like when I mean lifetime, I'm not talking about maybe lifetime, I'm talking about the time we have every day. We spend like 70% at work, we spend like 60% at work. So you see, if you're spending 60% of your whole day at work and you're just concerned about maybe the remaining, maybe you spend 10% on the road going and coming, and then remaining 30%, or even if it's 1% you spend on the road, let's say the remaining 39% is what you spend at home, and out of that 39%, your spouse cannot be with you that full 39%. So let's just say 20% is what you spend with your spouse or your friend or your parents or your siblings. So it's good to watch out for toxicity from these people, but it's also more important to know when your work environment and other of such environments become toxic for you. So what I want us to get used to is normalize the fact that toxicity does not only come from private relationships. Your work can be toxic. Every other environment you find yourself in, even academic environments, can become toxic. So you need to, deflect this idea in our heads that, oh, we're just talking about personal relationships. No, it's okay, it's cool to look out for toxicity in personal relationships, but don't just limit it to them, because if you focus on that too much and ignore the other parts of your life, what you'll be doing is you'll be taking stress from work, you'll be taking stress from school, you'll be taking stress from projects, taking stress from every other area of your life and transferring it on your personal relationship, because that's where you're putting most of your attention on. So let's get right into what I would call the bone of today's discussion. So I believe we already know this, but I'm just going to be sharing with us tips to discern toxic relationships, toxic environments. So how can we identify toxic relationships? So in a toxic relationship and a toxic environment, there's going to be constant negativity. Like everything is there's nothing you do that is right. Like maybe at work, your boss is always nagging. See, there's a difference between you don't know what you're doing, you're not doing well at work, and you're giving in your best, you're growing, you're taking the skills, you're taking the courses you should do, you're taking the skills you should do, you're following the processes you should follow, but you still are never able to do anything right. You get? So you don't, for example, like that there's a due procedure for this, and you follow this due procedure and you've arrived at a point, and the point is not bad, you've figured out something, but just because it's you, it's not nice. Or you find out that they use, your projects, that answer you've arrived at, they actually use it, but no one ever gives you credit. Okay, not even giving you credit is one thing. Then making you feel like you did absolute nonsense, but they are still using it is another thing. Most of us are in this situation where our workplaces is treating us this way, and we are not even thinking that, oh, could this be toxic? We are not even it's not even coming to our mind. So first up, number one is like negative. Everything is just negative. Like you can just do absolutely nothing right. Secondly, lack of support. Like another way to identify this relationship is quite toxic, this environment is quite toxic for me, is we are human beings. We are social beings. We are created to like relate. We are created to like support one another. It's normal. It's natural for like a human being to see someone else struggling with something, and you just want to help us. You just want to be like, oh God, what's the problem? How can I help? So if you're in a place like your home, your family, you're struggling with things, and physically, academically, emotionally, and nobody's helping you, then there's toxicity flying around it. A bit in your personal relationship, in your workplace, you have projects, you put in your own best, you try to ask for support, nobody's willing to support you. That can be very frustrating. That's another way to know that, oh guy, oh girl, I am in a very toxic environment right now. The third way to identify toxic relationship is controlling behavior. Like, there's a difference between patterns, procedures, and policies that are laid out that you should follow. These are rules and regulations that guide organizations, that guide relationships. Is a different thing than, okay, maybe you're in a relationship and you've sat down, you've set out goals that, okay, this is the way we behave, these are the things we should do, and maybe the other partner is trying to make you abide by those rules that you guys set out together. That's totally different. But then when you begin to want to run someone's life, when someone begins to want to run your life, when it looks like maybe at the workplace you have your own ideas of how to do things properly with the legal standard and arrive at a very absolute fantastic way, but just because they want to lord over you, they don't let you express your intellectual capacity. They just want to ride on you, tell you what to do. You must do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. It's not like doing it that way is following policy, or it's not like doing it that way is the only way out. It's just so that they lord over you. Then you are definitely in a toxic environment. So watch out for environments that put you in the situation where it looks like you have nothing to offer, especially when you are absolutely sure that you know what you're doing, you have something to offer, you put your time to get skills, you put your time to get knowledge, but then you can't put it out there because someone just wants to lord over you and make you feel less of yourself. That is a very toxic environment. Now, what this does to you is you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Before you know it, you ask yourself, what's the point of even studying? What's the point of even putting in efforts? They're not going to like it anyway. You begin to dwindle, you begin to drop in your skills, you begin to make mistakes, you begin to make errors, you begin to become less efficient in whatever you're doing. So it's very important for you to identify this kind of environment so that you could do the right thing about them. So the next way you could figure out that a relationship or an environment is very toxic for you is disrespect. Disrespect is not just how people treat you. Disrespect is also how they don't treat you. Disrespect is not just what people say to you. Disrespect is also what they don't say to you. So there's a lot of things we can do, and we are disrespecting people. There's a lot of things people can do to us and we feel disrespected. Most times it's not just that I talk to you harshly, or oh gosh, I don't like the way she talks to me, she disrespected me. Might not be calling you names, especially in work settings. People might not go about calling you names or try, but they are things that people do, and you be like, oh no, this is below human standard. I cannot be treated this way. It's not that you wouldn't respect your bosses or you wouldn't behave appropriately, but don't stay in an environment where you're constantly being talked down on. That is disrespecting your emotions, disrespecting your suggestion. Everything you say makes no sense, and nobody wants to put into consideration your own point of view. Whatever you say, as long as it's coming from you, just makes absolutely no sense. Then that is a very toxic environment. Like I said before, disrespect is not just the things that were said to you or the things that were done to you. Also, disrespect is also the things that were not done and the things that were not said. I can't be working in an organization, putting in my best, doing everything, and let's say I did something for an organization or the place I work, and an award was won from my effort, and not even a simple, oh, well done, you've done well, keep it up. But then they go ahead to celebrate the win, and in absence of me, like making me feel like, it doesn't make sense. But then I made that win. So that is disrespect, really, especially when you've noticed a pattern of continuously being denied, privileges, access, being denied the opportunity to speak up, being denied the opportunity to, make any contribution, being denied your like, I don't know, the reward of your efforts consistently. In this way, nobody's saying anything bad to you, but there are things that they are not saying. So that is also disrespect. I can't, be in a place where every other person is said, "Oh, thanks for coming to work today. Have a nice day." Oh, they treat these people differently. They treat these people differently, and then you're treated differently just because it's you. And now, let me say this: toxic environments, toxic people, they love to prey very much. They love to prey on those that do not resist their toxicities. So what I'm trying to say is, one of the ways to make toxic people continue being toxic is to keep tolerating their toxicity. There's a difference between understanding different personality traits and trying to walk your way through your different personality with someone and consistently permitting disrespect, consistently permitting bullying, consistently permitting all forms of, things that should not be permitted. There is a line, a very wide gap between, I have this personality difference with this colleague, I have this personality difference with this partner, and we're trying to, find out our differences, work together so that we can, pad it up and be apart. And there is another wide gap that I don't regard you. I talk to you consistently in a harsh way. I don't listen to you. I don't pay attention to what you're saying. I feel like whatever you're going to say makes absolutely no sense. That is a very toxic environment. So if you're experiencing any of these things at work consistently over time, then the reason it keeps happening is because you've not done anything about it. You've not even picked up on it. You are doing the wrong thing. You probably might be blaming yourself, feeling, "Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not this. I'm not this." Before you know it, you're depressed. You're doubting your skills. You're doubting your abilities. You begin to dwindle. You can't do anything for yourself, and that's exactly what they aim to, bring out of you. So watch it when if 2 or 3 of these points I'm saying all exist in your workplace or in your relationship, then you can be very sure that you're in a very toxic environment. See, one of these things may exist as an error in a relationship. Like, someone might not know that this thing they are doing is bad or is hurting, but when something is an error, it doesn't constantly repeat itself. It may just be one-off, maybe talk to you disrespectfully once. It happens. We disrespect our fellow humans in relationships once in a while. But I'm talking about a consistent pattern, an unrepentant approach of disrespect. That is not error. That is intentional toxicity. So another point that you could pick up to say, "Oh, this person is being toxic," or "this environment is being toxic to me," is when an environment, a place, or a person drains your energy completely. Like, whenever you're in that environment, when you're about to go to that environment, you begin to have palpitations, you begin to feel bad, you begin to cry, you begin to feel anxiety. Or when you're about to see this person, you begin to overcompensate, you doubt your look, you're looking good, you've dressed well, but you begin to feel less of yourself, you begin to feel scared of, not that you're feeling not that anxiety that comes with going to a new place or trying out a new role. It's okay to be anxious when you're going to a new role, but then why should you be anxious going to work in the work that you've been working for 3 years? That's where you work every day. So why are you anxious? Why are you feeling less of yourself? Why are you gasping just because you're about to go to work? Your friend is coming over to visit you. Why are you, running helter-skelter, trying to please, trying to make yourself look the particular way they have described that you should look? Doesn't really make any sense. If you say someone is your friend, the person should know you, accept you. It's okay if they correct you and you have some errors and they're saying change in this, but It's not okay when they're trying to make you a picture of something they've painted in their head that an ideal friend should be. So if you see yourself running helter skelter whenever your friend is coming, not because your house is not in order, not because you're naturally trying to get things together, but just because you're anxious of not meeting up to what they feel you should be, then that's a red flag there. Or you go to work, you've been working for the past 3 years, the past 6 months, the past 8 months, and every day you carry your bag to go to work, you just don't want to go, not because you don't like the work, not because you're lazy, but just because you're scared of what the day is going to bring, especially the way you're going to be treated. That is a red flag. You shouldn't perpetually put yourself in such an environment. So another way you could figure out that, oh, this place I am, this environment, this person, this thing is toxic, is gaslighting. When they try to make everything you're trying to say not make sense, when everything hasn't, everything you try to present does just, no one is even considering it at all. It just don't make sense as far as it's coming from you. I think I've talked about that before. So be very, very watchful of this stuff in your workplace, in your personal relationship, in your academy. Nobody, even though you're being taught, even though you're learning in school, you shouldn't be made to feel stupid. You shouldn't be made to look like a fool before you can learn, So be very, especially by your colleagues, by your classmates, by people around you, because most times this stuff don't even come from very, very superior people, because they don't really have time for that. It comes from those that, we sit around on a daily basis with, like our colleagues or our classmates, things like that, our friends that we're on the same par with. So be very watchful of these things. I would also like to say that it's not all toxicity that deserves cutting off, like completely cutting off. There are some traits of toxicity that you could nip at the bud and it gets fixed. But there is a level of toxicity that you will be experiencing, and the only solution to it is just going to be leaving the environment. Like I said, one video is not going to do justice to this topic, so let's just keep going and see how far we can go onto this video, and then I would make subsequent videos for us to trash this topic, really, because most of us are really just going through a lot and we don't even know that we are going through a lot, and we're asking ourselves, why are we not productive? Why am I not my happy self? Why am I not excited anymore? Why don't I just feel bubbly anymore? And it could just be these little things that we are not even taking into account. So the next point that could point out that, oh, this environment is toxic is constant betrayal. This one really can relate very well. Yeah, you could really relate to this in personal relationship, friendship, family. When someone constantly betrays you, they give you their word, but they never keep to it. They give you their word over and over and over again, but they never keep to it. You put your whole trust in them, but they never ever take it for anything. Your boss keeps promising to promote you for the past 10 years, the past 5 years. You keep doing your best. You keep working your best. It's not that there are no opportunities for promotion. It's not that you don't deserve the promotion. It's not that you've not worked hard enough for the promotion, but they keep betraying you. They keep letting you down. They keep just letting you down. So that is I don't know how to process this, but that is a major sign of a toxic environment, when they constantly over and over again treat you. I myself, I'm just coming out of a very toxic environment, to say not necessarily anything personal, but don't want to share details fully, but to let you know that I'm not just reading a script. I've experienced toxicity, and especially in a certain workplace. I'm not talking about maybe home or anything, because really I've been opportune. Let me use the word opportune. I don't know if this is an opportunity really, but let's say I've been in the shoes where I've done a lot. I've put in a lot of work and in my workplace, and it never really meant anything. The funny part is that they use my ideas. I present stuff and it's being used, but I was still being treated like trash. Because on a normal day, I'm not someone that is really interested in the glory, but I think that's one of the wrong things, like the part that people misuse when they find that, oh, this person is not interested in the glory or what happens. They just like want to like take you for granted, or just slide you at the corner and want to use you to get their own, like they want to just use you to get their own. So that's story for another day, actually. But I just want you to know that I'm not like saying things that I just plucked from the moon. These are realistic stuff that I've experienced firsthand. So these and more are stuff that you could be experiencing, and you'll know that, oh, this relationship, oh, this friendship, oh, this work place, or any other environment you find yourself in is actually very, very, very toxic. So I've mentioned a whole lot of things. I'll just run through them. I've mentioned constant negativity, lack of support, controlling attitude, manipulation, disrespect, draining your energy. I've mentioned gaslighting. I've mentioned consistent betrayal. So these are stuff that you could see happening around you, and you would know that, oh my God, I am in a very toxic environment. I am in a very toxic relationship. Like, seriously, is this what I've been going through? So you need to actually identify this challenge, or you need to be able to pick up this flag before you would even be able to know what to do about the toxicity. You actually can do absolutely anything if you don't even understand that you are in a toxic environment or relationship. So sincerely, this video, I wanted to like just continue, because I also have prepared like how we could go about this toxic and maybe I'll just go ahead. So you should also know that this is not like, I don't know how to explain. Like I've said it before, that you might notice some of these errors in your relationship, but it just means that, oh, this person is not well learned in this area. This person doesn't have enough knowledge of this. This person doesn't understand what they're doing. And you talk to them about it and they take correction, and change, and things change for the better. But then when you're sure that this is toxicity, is when it's just been par on par, constantly repetitive, and you see this in your relationship, in your environment, your workplace every single day, and you've tried to do something about it and it cannot be sorted. You've reported to the right appropriate body if we're talking about work and nobody's doing anything, or they've maybe called some people to order and still nothing has changed, then you are sure that this is toxic, really. Or let's say you've talked to your partner about their behavior that doesn't sit well with you, and they don't even want to listen to you, or it makes no sense to them, they just go ahead treating you the same way, then you could be sure that, oh, this is quite toxic for me, I can't deal. So really, sincerely, I would want us to like really pay attention to this topic. So maybe I'll try my best to, like I promised, I'm going to like keep working on this topic, because we really have to like sort this out, because a lot of people are going to depression. A lot of people are going through a lot of stress in their mind, in their inside. That's why productivity have dropped so much. Like a lot of people are just going through so much. So I just want to let you know, before I wrap up this video, that the first step to solving or handling toxic relationship or toxic environment is to identify the toxicity. That is why I took my time to start by educating us on how do you know that this environment is toxic for me? Because if you don't even know that the environment is toxic, how are you going to solve it? How are you going to do something about it? So this is the first step you have to take. If you're saying that, oh, the environment is toxic, then the first way to solve it is identify that the environment is toxic. So guys, I'm go through these points that I've listed. Like I said, the first way to know that, okay, the first way to deal with toxicity, toxic environment, toxic people is to identify the toxicity. So I've talked extensively on, ways or points by which you could identify that, oh, my environment is toxic, this person is toxic, this relationship is toxic. Go through them, give it understand them better. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. Ask yourself, is this toxicity, or is it just an error, a one-time error, or mistakes that are happening around me? Take the steps to address them and make up your mind if they've been addressed or this environment is still toxic, at least. But next time I'll be dropping the video of how to deal with toxic environments full time. You would be able to make up your mind if your relationship or your environment or your workplace is toxic for you, and if you'll be needing those points I'll be sharing in my next video. So thanks for watching to this point. Of course, I'm so glad that you stayed with me to this point. Thank you so much. To my new viewers and subscribers, please do click on the notification bell, subscribe, like and share this video, because I trust that you really learned something. And do not forget to practice all what we've taught and learned today. Go through the video again, drop your questions in the comment sections, and I'll try my best to reach out to you. Do have a great week ahead, and do not let any toxicity ruin you. Stay positive. Make sure that you conserve your positive energy. Very soon I'll be coming to you shortly on tips on how to handle toxic relationships, so that we've been able to identify them. Next, we're going to be talking about how to go about handling them. So stay happy, stay blessed, and make sure that you stay positive. See you on the next one. Bye bye. I'm Precious. See you soon.